going on, guys? It is Jaden and our resident expert Caleb here with Fantasy Tomorrow. And it is time for our Week 15 injury report. We know how important it is to keep an eye out for these players because now that we're in playoffs, we have no room for mistakes. So, Caleb, who was inactive in Week 14 that we might be seeing come back soon?
Yeah, so quite a few players, especially big-name players. Players like Julio Jones, wide receiver for the Falcons. He's had a hamstring injury that's been hindering him. He wasn't able to practice last week, and so he needs to return to practice and log some practice time. Hopefully he'll get back this week. Same with Christian McCaffrey for the Panthers. He has that shoulder injury that's been bothering him. He's just been banged up all year. So his status is very much up in the air, and he needs to log consecutive practices. Last week, he practiced in a limited capacity on Wednesday, then wasn't able to practice on Thursday, so he needs some consistency there, so watch for that with McCaffrey. DJ Moore, wide receiver for the Panthers, he tested positive or was on the COVID list. Now, he could come off of that list this week, but again, with COVID, there's just so many unknowns, so pay attention to that if you have DJ Moore. Joe Mixon for the Bengals could finally make his return this week. He's been dealing with that foot injury, but again, we've been saying this for weeks with Mixon. We don't really know what his full status is going to be, so watch that practice report. He needs to practice in order to have a chance. Kenny Golladay for the Detroit Lions has had that hip injury. He seems like he's getting closer to finally coming back and starting practicing again, but again, he needs to return to practice. David Johnson for the Houston Texans. Now, he was a COVID close contact, so that means that he should return this week. You shouldn't worry too much about him. His teammate Brandon Cooks has had a foot and neck injury. He was limited in practices last week, which means that he probably has a decent chance at kind of ramping things up and returning this week. Now, in Miami, the running back situation is really iffy. All Myles Gaskin, Savon Ahmed, and Matt Breida were all on the injury report. All of them missed this game in Week 14. Gaskin is likely going to miss again because of being on the COVID list. Breida is also on the COVID list, so we need to watch and see what's going to happen with him. And then Ahmed has a shoulder injury, so keep an eye on him. If it turns out to where it's just one of these guys being active, I think that they're a good fantasy play, but definitely have to just keep an eye on all three of them. Then Drew Brees, quarterback for the Saints, is still dealing with that rib injury. It was originally stated that Week 15 was the goal for him to return, but I would be very cautious with assuming that. It seems like the Saints aren't in any rush to get him back on the field. It seems like that injury is going to be pretty, heavy, pretty severe, and I think it could take him some more time to return. And then finally, Antonio Gibson for the Washington football team. He's dealing with that toe injury, and he needs to practice this week as well. With a turf toe injury, it can be very painful and can be something that lingers for a while, so I would not be surprised if he were to miss Week 15 as well.
Okay, and now did we see anybody injured in Week 14 that might be coming back soon?
Yeah, so quite a few little injuries here. First, Matthew Stafford dealt with a rib injury that knocked him out of the game. He's getting x-rays, but he could easily miss some time. We know that with Drew Brees, that rib injury definitely affected him. So, could be the same thing for Stafford. Hopefully it's not as serious. He's able to get right back out there on the field. Alex Smith for the Washington football team. Now, he was dealing with some soreness and, with his calf. And it was, I think, on that leg where he had all of that surgery, which is very scary. But the team is saying that it isn't serious, that even he could have returned into the game if he needed to. So he should be fine for Week 15. That doesn't really mean that you're going to start him in your lineups, but that does affect the production of J.D. McKissick and Terry McLaurin, Logan Thomas. So keep an eye on him just to make sure that he's good to go. Melvin Gordon, running back for the Denver Broncos, is dealing with a shoulder injury. You're going to need to monitor that. We don't have a whole ton of information, but definitely concerning. Same with Damian Harris, who's had a back injury. Even if he plays for the Patriots, it seems like he probably could see reduced snaps due to Sony Michel finally getting back from his injury. But he has had some extra time to get healthy since they played on Thursday night, so there's a little bit of a give and take there with Harris. Definitely need to monitor him. Keenan Allen for the Chargers is dealing with some soreness. It seems like it's nothing serious, but we need to watch this because they play on Thursday night, so they have a very short turnaround time for Allen to get healthy. So definitely could be something that could limit him or even hold him out of that game on Thursday. Devontae Parker for Miami, he's dealing with a leg injury. Need to keep an eye on it. Hopefully it's nothing serious, but we don't have a ton of information. And same thing with his teammate, Jakeem Grant. Another wide receiver for Miami. He's dealing with a leg issue, kind of same as Parker. We just need to keep an eye on it. But yeah, hopefully all these guys will get back very, very soon.
Hopefully, especially now that we're in playoffs. Did we see anybody injured in Week 14 that will miss a significant amount of time?
Yeah, so first off, Mike Williams for the Chargers. I don't know how significant this injury is. It's a back injury. But I would just say expect him to miss Week 15 just because the Chargers play on Thursday night. He likely does not have enough time to recover from this injury and for the Chargers to really know just how serious and how much time he has. So I would just expect him not to play. Now, Mike Gesicki, tight end for the Miami Dolphins, he left the game with a shoulder injury. If you saw this injury, it was pretty bad looking. He landed kind of on his shoulder and on his head very awkwardly. He was walking off the field and the trainers were having to hold his arm up for him. So definitely not good for this tight end. And I would expect him to definitely miss some time. And then finally, Deebo Samuel for the San Francisco 49ers. He's dealing with a hamstring injury. He's getting an MRI on it, but kind of right now the common thought is this could be something that ends his season. So very bad news for Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, very bad news for all those players. As you guys can tell, we had quite a few notable injuries this week. So just keep that in mind and go on ahead and like, comment, and subscribe so you'll keep coming back to us for these kinds of injury reports. With that, we're going to say see you later to Caleb, and I'm going to let you know that this is Fantasy Tomorrow, where we're giving you the information to learn today and win tomorrow. See you guys next week.